Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from group 9 and today we're going to discuss about decision making in organizational behavior. My name is AHMAD Shazzren bin RIZALL. My matrix number I21205643 and I will discuss about my topic is introduction of decision making. Decision making is the essence of management, such as all managers are tasked with making decisions. Making decisions is one of the main activities for the managers. They make decisions from the simplest and most routine ones, such as purchasing of raw material, granting leave to an employee, and others. To more complicated and unique one is expanding the business, introducing a new product line, and others. Senior managers particularly make complex decisions related to organizational matters such as entering new business and others. The higher the rank of the manager, the more important and wide-ranging the decisions that he or she undertakes. Overall, good decisions making skills are critical to organizational effectiveness.
Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is SITI NURFATIHAH binti MOHAMMAD HASHIM. My matric number is I21205655. My course is Bachelor in Islamic Finance. Okay, next slide is characteristic of program and non-program decision. Okay, for characteristic program decision have a 8. First type of decision, automatic and restructure. Second, frequency, routine and repetitive. Next is goals, clear and specific. For information, readily and available. 5 is consequences to organization, is minor. Organization level for program decision is lower level manager. 7, time needed for solution is shorter. And 8, basis of solution, organization rules, policies and procedures. Okay, next characteristic for non-program decision is first, for type of decision, non-automatic and poorly structured. Second, frequency, unique and unusual. 3, goals is unclear. Next is information is not available. Consequences to organization is major. Organization level for non-program decision is highest level manager. Time needed for solution is relatively long. And 8, basis of solution is management judgment and intuition and creativity. Okay, decision making is not easy. Thus for manager, poor decision will affect an organization survival. This manager to be aware of their surrounding to come up with the best decision. Okay, next slide is levels of decision making. Okay, level of decision making have a 3 level. First, strategic decision, tactical decision, and third is operational decision. Okay, here example of decision. For strategic decision, should we merge with another company? Should we pursue a new product line? Should we downsize our organization? Okay, here's who typically makes a decision of this question. Okay, first is top management teams, second CEOs, and third is board of director. Okay, second is level of decision is tactical decision. Okay, example of decision, what should we do help facilitate employees from the two companies working together? How should we market the new product line? And who should be let go when we downsize? Okay, who typically make decision is a manager. Okay, third, operational decision. Okay, for example of decision is, how often should I communicate with my new co-workers? What should I say to customers about our new product? And how will I balance my new work demands? Okay, who typically make decision of operational decision is employees throughout the organization.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is MUHAMMAD bin MUSTAKIM. My matric card number is I21205641, and I will continue about our topic, and I will continue the factors that influencing decision in organization. Basically, the factors that influence the decision making in organization is affected by individual differences and organizational constraints. Okay, first we will look at organizational behavior or individual behavior. Individual behavior is determined by various elements such as attitudes, personality, gender, and such as abilities, perception. So people react differently to the same situation due to this element. Usually people react differently, but some people may be same, some people are different. Okay, so individual behavior contribute, there are few elements that contribute in decision making by the individual behavior. The first is personality. Personality is pattern of behavior that describe an individual adaptation to a situation. Personality comprises various characteristics among other self-esteem, locus of control, self-monitoring, and type A and type B personality, which leads to different kind of behavior among individuals. So studies said personality influence work, behavior, and performance. So personality also can affect the decision making. So we take example, so such as type A and type B in personality. Type A person is someone who is impatient, strive to do more than one task at once, and cannot cope with leisure. This type of person usually make work to finish faster before the deadline. He or she usually do not take rest because he only focus on work, only focus on the decision that they make. While type B personality is someone who is patient, calm, easygoing. This type of person usually decide to make some important job first, or some important decision first, other than he think other decision not too important. So there are different type of personality that may affect the decision making. And the second thing in individual differences is attitude. The writer, which is named Goodman, says attitude is the value, thought, and behavioral tendencies held by a person. So attitude also referred to as a way of thinking or feeling about someone or something, which is reflected on person's behavior. These are said to have an influence on decision making. There are two types of attitudes: explicit attitude and implicit attitude. Explicit attitude seems person to be slow, controlled, relatively effortful, conscious, and intentional, while implicit attitude are quick, intuitive, automatic, relatively effortless, unintentional, and can operate outside of conscious awareness. So between these two attitude some researchers shown that explicit attitude expected to give more impact in some decision making. For example, if a person believes that doing something is unethical, or some person think that he or her decision is not right, they will avoid that decision. So this shows that attitude influence the decision making. Okay, so next we see the organizational constraint, the factors that influencing decision making. Organizational constraints is usually it was affected by organization. Example of organizational constraint are performance evaluation, reward system, rules and regulation. The first one is performance evaluation. Managers base their decision on the criteria that they are evaluated by the top managers. So the top managers evaluate their managers. For example, top manager says to the low manager that they want to priority their work based on the quantity of producing the product. So the low managers will decide the quantity of product is the priority so they will decide the quantity of product to be the priority other than other factor lah. So this performance evaluation effect the decision made by the managers. Second is reward system. Reward system is basically the reward system refers to decision being made for the reward expected from the organization. Basically the reward system is the favor of personal gain. For example, an organization reward managers based on number of customers if they reach how many customer they get in some campaign, for example. So if the managers can get their target, so the organization will give the reward to the manager, and the manager will make decision to get the target. And the third one is rules and regulation. Decision by managers that follow stipulated rules and regulation in the organization. The rules and regulation are created to guide manager in decision making and prevent them from make mistakes or make unethical decision. In turn, managers will ensure that decision made do not contradict the rules and regulation outlined. For example, an organizational policy stipulates that customer must be served 10 minutes 10 minutes of their arrival. If employees fail to follow the rules, they will subject to disciplinary action, such as salary cut, such as fired from the work and others. The employees are unhappy as they feel that this is rigid, unfair and harsh. So in this situation, the managers must make the decision that has been fixed for such as incident. So the rules that organization put fired or cut salary of the employee if they do not do their work properly. So the manager must do this rules to behave, to make their employees behave. Okay, after that we move on to the decision making process. There are 6 steps in making decisions. This is shown like the slide. There are 6 steps that must be followed. The first step is identifying opportunities and diagnosing the problems. Decision making occurs as a response to a problem. Thus, managers need to identify the problems that need to be solved. Decision making also happen when there are opportunities for the organization in development, in product, in advancement. So the assessment of problem and opportunities are based on information at hand. Hence, the assessment and hence an accurate assessment of problem and opportunities determines the quality of decision, which can prevent mistake that can affect organization. Second, generating alternative. Once a problem has been diagnosed and the opportunity has been identified, managers need to think a way or alternative to solve the problem or to grab the opportunity to the organization. This step requires managers to come with creative solutions, critical solution, so that the objective of solving the problem or objective to grab the opportunity can be achieved. Alternative generated must be in line with the problem identified. If the problem about phone, the alternative must about phone. It's not about food. The third step is evaluating alternative. Now we see that the managers have complete list of alternative. This next step requires them to evaluate those alternative. Having to evaluate alternative, manager must determine the value or inadequacy of each alternative, the advantage and disadvantage of the alternative must be correctly assessed, such as benefit, risk involved, consequences, and uncertainties. At the end of this step, managers find ranking of alternative which help them to make most accurate decision. So manager evaluate the alternative based their thought. So they make many alternative and find the greatest alternative so that can they choose to make the decision. The fourth step is making decision. This is where managers or person that want to make decision come after evaluate the alternatives. Decision making is an essential part of managerial position. After assessing the advantage and disadvantage of alternative, managers advantage, opportunities, benefits, risk, uncertainties. Managers can now see clearly which alternative is the best choice. Commonly, the one with more advantage, more opportunities, more positive consequences, more benefit, less risk, less disadvantage, less uncertainties are the decision that manager will choose. It's important for manager to come to make a decision that can realize not only best possible outcome but also give several goals for organization, and the alternative and the decision that managers make must be proven acceptable for organization. Okay. The fifth step is implementing the decision. Once the decision has been made, it's time for the managers to think the implement of the decision. At this step of implementation, the things to be taken to consideration are two. First, the individuals who will be affected by the decision and their sensitivity. And implementation of new decision will definitely affect the people in an organization. It is important for managers to make their employees understand and accept the decision to secure the successful implementation. Not only that, if the employee understand and are able to accept the decision, they will be motivated and give full commitment in implementing the decision. Second, the ability and availability of the resources to carry out the implementation task. In this situation, managers have to do a proper planning for resources. A successful implementation can be achieved when resources needed are available and also able to perform the task. Secure scheduling of activities is also important part in making the implementation successful. So the final step in making decision process is evaluating and monitoring results. The final step, managers have to evaluate how well the decision is working. If they think their decision is right, they must see how the work is done and how the work must be do rightfully and correctly. Evaluation of result is important to find the loopholes in decision for future improvement in decision making. So evaluating the decision can also help the organization, also help the managers, also help the person for using this. If they found a loophole, if they found the decision are not good or incorrect, they can use they can use this to improve their work next time. If the decision happen to be ineffective and not working very well, the process start all over again. Start from searching for the problems, start from grab the opportunities. So if the final decision and the work can't be done, so they must start from the start all over again and make other decision than previous alternative to make a better decision. So these are the process and step in making decision for organization.
Hi,
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Binti Muhammad ABDUL. My matric number is 21205731. Now I will present about individual group decision making and group technique. Group decision making is individual in organization make decision because they have the greatest impact on the organization performance. From the top manager going down to lower level manager as well as operative employer. Everyone is involved in decision making, which is making a choice from many alternatives. It is part of the individual test. The second one is good decision making. Good decision making is a situation where two or more people are involved in making decisions within organization. This situation has become a common practice. Is it product better solution to a problem since the group member exchange idea and opinion? But how group made decision? The firstly is decision by lack of response. During the group decision making process, group members suggest ideas that no one respond to. However, once the group member finally accept an idea, all other ideas are then discussed. This method called a flow. The second is decision by formal authority. Decision by formal authority is a group chairperson, leader, manager, head, or some other authority figure makes certain decision on behalf of the group. This decision-making method seems autocratic, particularly because the goal of the group is to provide the authority figure with the complete information needed to make an informed decision. The three is decision by majority rule. Decision by majority rule is use voting and polling as the basis for deciding. A formal voting session may take place to determine the majority viewpoint. However, this problem already driving a group winner and loser, which leave those in the minority category are committed to the final decision. The fourth is decision by minority. Decision by minority is this method involved two or more people who dominate and control the group, making the decision for the group. They are the people who are able to reward or influence the other member to accept the decision that they prefer. An example of the most common statement used by the person in charge or even is self-appointed leader is, does anyone object? Okay, let's proceed. Or other similar comment. The five is decision by consensus. This is an approach to decision making where full decision takes place and most members favor the decision while other members support it. It is one of the most effective methods to make decision because it will commitment in implementing the decision. It is process where communication is sufficiently open and supportive to make people feel that they have an opportunity to influence the decision. The lastly is decision by unanimous consent. Decision by unanimous consent is unanimity means all members agree to the decision. This seems to be a perfect decision-making method, but it is almost impossible to be achieved through discussion or any way of decision making. In addition, due to the law of individual difference, every person has a different idea towards the perception that makes each of us view things differently. The lastly is group decision making technique. Group decision making technique terbahagi kepada 4. The first is brainstorming, the second is nominal group technique, the 3 is Delphi technique, and the 4 electronic meeting. Okay, I will terangkan brainstorming. Brainstorming is where a group of people, usually between 5 and 10 people, sit around the table and generate ideas in the form of free association. It is a technique that encourages the group member to generate as many ideas as possible on a specific matter. This technique does not restrict the group member on the type of idea. They are allowed to express any idea, available and rigorous one, using the technique criticism and evaluation of the ideas are not allowed until all ideas have been discussed. Brainstorming works best for generating new ideas and alternatives, but not for evaluating alternatives or selecting solutions. There are several for brainstorming. The first is group members are free to express any idea or opinion to the group leader or facilitator. The second is the more ideas the better. The 3 is wild and ridiculous ideas are encouraged. The 4 is combining ideas or building on the ideas of author encouraged. The lastly is one conversation at a time. Introduction are not allowed. Nominal group technique. Nominal group technique, aka NGT, is familiar to brainstorming, except that the approach is more structured. This technique integrates both the individual and the group creativity in making decisions. Group members are not allowed to throw ideas freely unless in writing down individual and later present in a round-robin manner. These ideas are then discussed and evaluated. The NGT must follow the following steps. The first one is the facilitator or leader will ask every group member to write down his or her ideas silently. The 2 is all ideas are then listed on a chart. The 3 is discussion is allowed only for the purpose of clarifying, not criticism. The last is voting is then done to choose the best idea. Okay, next is Delphi technique. The Delphi technique was developed by Rand Corporation. This technique is a modification of the nominal group technique, aspect that is involved obtaining the opinions of aspects who are physical separate and now the each other. This technique began with the identification of issue or problem that need to be addressed. For example, a manner made to know about customer future reference of a particular product. Next, a survey or questionnaire is developed and sent to the participants to elicit feedback in solving the issue. The lastly is electronic meeting. Electronic meeting, or also will call e-meeting, are the most current and modern method being used by organization for group decision making. Electronic device and information technology such as intranet, the internet, video conferencing, and social network sites are used to discuss a problem without having to match fetch hash or tab. Another example of an electronic meeting is the electronic boardroom that display the idea of member on lock screen, the voting process, and also the result. Okay, that's for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AMIRAH NADHIRAH binti Muhammad SAFUAN. My matric number is I21205729. Okay, first my part is group decision making bring various advantages such as resulting in first greater total knowledge. It means groups generate more ideas, gain more knowledge and information, also access more alternative for a specific problem. For example, members throw out ideas based on their perspective and share them with others. Okay, and number 2, different perspective, because individuals are different in their characteristic and perception. They may have different views on the same problem. Okay, for example, having to sit in one group and members can see from various angle. Okay, the third is higher member satisfaction. It means ideas contributed by each member are discussed together in a group. Everybody has a fair chance to criticize and evaluate and agree on the final decision. This can make all members will be satisfied to decision making process. Okay, number 4, better understanding of the decision. It means getting involved in decision making. Every group member will understand better the rationale behind the decision. And the last, number 5, is commitment growth for teams. People are more willing to commit when they are part of a larger group and will develop a sense of pride and accomplishment for being an important part of the group. Okay, however, group decision making also has its disadvantage as follows. Number 1 is takes more longer time. It is because having so many ideas or alternative to be discussed and evaluated, group take a longer time to make decision even on simple matter. Number 2, dominates by a few people. It means some group leaders try to have control over the group and provide major input. So this is making the rest unproductive members. Okay, number 3, diminish team spirit. This occurs when some of the group members' ideas are not considered in the discussion, which make them to feel left out and not important to the group. Number 4, opinion can be swayed. It is very easy for the opinions of some members to be influenced or manipulated by other members of group. Number 5, group theme. This happens when the group is more focused more on the cohesiveness among members rather than deciding on the best possible solution. Okay, next, ethics in decision making. Ethics mean are a person's belief about right and wrong pertaining to behavior. Ethical behavior is behavior that is accepted by society as good. Meaning of unethical behavior is behavior that is regarded as bad and unacceptable by society. Okay, point number 1 is making is the process of evaluating and choosing among alternative in a manner that is consistent with ethical principle. Point number 2, in making ethical decision, it is necessary to perceive and eliminate unethical option and select the best ethical alternative. The process of making ethical decision requires is number 1, commitment, the desire to do the right thing regardless of the cost. Number 2, consciousness, is meaning the awareness to act consistently and apply moral conviction to daily behavior. Number 3, computation, the ability to collect and evaluate information, develop alternative, and enforce potential consequence and risk. In summary, every decision, be it by individual or a group, must be evaluated for its ethics. Organizational should be clear of its principle on ethical behavior so that organization members are aware of its importance. New employers must be educated on ethical behavior to ensure they don't make unethical decision, unintentional good decision are both ethical and efficient.
Errors in decision making, or we call it bias, or something that can affect our decision. The first one is overconfidence bias, which is the decision maker is overconfident of the ability about himself when he wants to make a decision. For example, he is expert in mathematics, so he decide just to do it the way he usually does, and he can be a bit clumsy when we do mathematics. The second one is anchoring bias. This one, when making a decision, one relies on the first information available until other information is ignored. For example, when our boss, our interviewer asks us about the salary that we first would like to have, so we will say around 55,000. This for example. So the interviewer will decide whether to take the salary either around 50k or until 60k, because the first information that he has is 55k. So he made decision based on that first information. The third one is confirmation bias. This decision is made based on one perception on another. For example, when we have a problem and we already decide what to do, but when we want to make a decision, we base on the information that we want to hear. Number 4 is escalation of commitment. What happened here is we have made a decision and we can see that the decision is leading us to much more trouble or having a negative impact, but we have belief or that with that decision it may lead to something good or better, but actually it is not. So there is also an error in making decision. And lastly is risk aversion. In risk aversion, we have a problem that is nature to avoid risk, even though that risk may lead to something even better. For an example, like when we are playing, for example, toss coin, like the heads or tail. You know the 50 cent thing, heads or tail. And let's say we decide if we got head, we are going to receive 50 ringgit, and if we got tail, we are going to give the other person 50 ringgit. So there is a 50-50% in that decision, and because of we are afraid to play it, because 50-50, we can lose 50 ringgit and we can also obtain 50 ringgit. So if we decide to play the game, we might get 50 ringgit, but we also might lose 50 ringgit. So there is some people that there is a reward if we take the risk, but there is also a risk if we take if we also, the risk is we lose 50 ringgit. So that is the error when we are trying to make decision making models. The first one, we have rational decision making model. In rational decision making, we will identify the problem, and then we will elaborate it. We find information about it and decide what is more important, so we can have the most optimum, like the most correct way, the best decision to overcome the problem. That is for rational decision making model. And then we have the bounded rationality, where we decide to solve our problem by making it as it's not the best, but like it's okay lah, so that the problem is solved. Not like we do not decide to have the best solution, but we have an okay problem lah. We still gather information about the problem, but we do not invest much time to make the decision. We just make all the best, but not the best, just okay until the decision, the problem is solved. And the third, we have intuitive decision making models. For this, we don't cost anything. We don't put much time in making it, because intuitive, it's based on us. It's based on on our intuition. Usually this intuitive model works when we have experience on the problem. Like we have experienced this problem, so we use our intuition to make a decision based on our experience and intuition. And the last, we have creative decision making models, which is we identify the problem, but we do not gather much information about it. We just let our creativity like handle the problem. Like we don't invest much time, but we use our creativity, like our impulse, to handle the problem.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hazal FIZE bin Muhammad ASRI. My metric number I17202085. Okay, I'm from Bachelor of Counselling student. I'm last sem. Okay, today I would like to present about case study. Okay, I will explain case study that focus about this decision making. Okay, what I have gained from the case study is I found that AMIRAH is a very ambitious and hardworking leader. Okay. In addition, AMIRAH also has a desire to increase productivity for her team. Okay. However, his desire to increase productivity in her team was not achieved because in terms of AMIRAH management of her team, she was not favored by her team members. After all, um, AMIRAH practice an autocratic style in her team. In addition, AMIRAH feel that her leadership style was very suitable to achieve her desire to increase productivity and in her group, but it yielded no result. Okay, uh, after that, uh, all issue cannot be resolved, and her team members assume they are not functioning as a team. Uh, okay, as a result, problems began um, to arise in the team because uh, team members strongly hate the authoritarian style practiced by AMIRAH. Okay, secondly, her team meetings slowly show a deadline in participation. Okay, also in the next meeting, some of her team members lost interest in voicing their views. Voicing their views and suggestion to her because they knew nothing would be taken seriously by AMIRAH. Okay, as a result, the company the company sales began to uh, dec- decline over time. However, AMIRAH has assumed that the cost of the company deadlining perform is because the organization is unable to compete with other companies. Uh, because of that, her her team members decide to bring their grievance to AMIRAH in in the interest of the company because AMIRAH needed to know what happened and what caused the team's performs to decline, thus affecting the company sales. Okay, after AMIRAH found out the real cause of teams uh, declining performance from her team's complaints were due to AMIRAH approach. Okay. Complaints from her team members stating that AMIRAH used her rank to make her own decisions uh, instead of making decisions based on consensus. Right. In addition, AMIRAH also received other complaints uh, from her team members who state that AMIRAH did not listen to them and only follow her judgment in each situation. Okay, after receiving feedback from her team members, AMIRAH has listened to her team members' suggestions carefully. In conclusion, a consensus or consultative leadership style is better for team members, and with such an approach can reach an agreement on critical decision more quickly, and reinforces the importance of giving um, time for decision that require consensus. Alright. Okay. Okay, we go to next slide. Okay, decision about case study. Okay, number one. Okay, question number one. Why do you think that the approach used by AMIRAH failed? Okay, in my opinion, the leadership traits shown by AMIRAH are the type of autocratic leadership. Okay, what causes AMIRAH to fail in her leadership is because her team members assume AMIRAH makes all the decisions, and they don't function as a team. As a result, problems began to arise within the team when members began to hate AMIRAH authoritarian style. Okey, uh, di sini saya akan terangkan apa pendekatan yang menyebabkan AMIRAH gagal adalah disebabkan oleh gaya kepimpinan autokratik beliau lah. Okey, dan pada masa sama ahli-ahli kumpulan ataupun teammates AMIRAH tidak menyukai gaya autokratik yang diamalkan oleh AMIRAH itu sendiri. Dan disebabkan itu juga timbul permasalahan antara ahli kumpulan dan juga AMIRAH. Right? Dan ahli-ahli kumpulan AMIRAH sangat tidak menyukai pendekatan yang diamalkan oleh AMIRAH itu sendiri. Okey, untuk soalan seterusnya. Okey, compare the previous and current decision making approach used by the team. Okey, di sini terdapat dua gaya kepimpinan. Yang pertama adalah autocratic leadership dan yang kedua consultative leadership. Okey, autocratic leadership is one where a boundary line exists between the leader and his followers, and all decisions are taken by the leader alone. Okey, autokratik ni ciri-ciri kepimpinan dia lebih kepada sepenuhnya keputusan adalah tertakluk kepada ketua kumpulan. Okey, yang mana segala keputusan hanya dibuat seorang oleh ketua. Mana kata ketua yang menentukan dari segi gerak kerja dan tugas-tugas yang akan diagihkan adalah daripada ketua itu sendiri. Okey, manakala consultative leadership usually arises when the leader does not know the whole situation and she requires the views and opinions of the team on the ground that they may be able to make an informed decision. Okey, memang berbeza. Okey, autokratik dan konsultatif. Okey, yang mana konsultatif ni sangat berbeza. Sangat berbeza dengan gaya autokratik ni sendirilah. Okey, yang mana konsultatif ni leader tu dia lebih kepada meminta pandangan, okey, pandangan dengan ahli-ahli kumpulan lain, okey, melakukan banyak perbincangan, okey, untuk mencapai objektif ataupun tujuan dalam sesebuah organisasi. Okey, seterusnya untuk autokratik leadership ni high level of control. Mana kata kawalan tu sangat tinggi. Yang mana ia dikawal sepenuhnya oleh ketua. Okey, dan pemerhatian pun sangat banyak dilakukan oleh ketua, oleh leader tu sendiri. Manakala konsultatif ni dari segi kawalan ni sangat rendah lah. Yang mana dia bersepakat antara leader dan juga ahli-ahli kumpulan untuk sama-sama membincangkan cara-cara untuk mencapai suatu matlamat ataupun objektif dalam organisasi. Okay, for example, in case study, when AMIRAH use an autocratic leadership style, it will have a detrimental effect on the performance of her employers because AMIRAH pay less attention to the needs of her employees. Maksudnya, sebagai contohnya di sini, apabila AMIRAH menggunakan sepenuhnya gaya autokratik, maka AMIRAH tidak mengambil tahu tentang keperluan yang diperlukan oleh ahli kumpulan dia. Okay, disebabkan pangkat yang tinggi daripada daripada ahli kumpulan dia. Itu yang menyebabkan dia tidak perlu mendengar pandangan-pandangan ataupun sebarang cadangan. Okay, semua keputusan dia yang buat. Mana kata senang cerita, ikut kepala dia sendiri. Okay, itu jenis kepimpinan autokratik lah. Therefore, when AMIRAH adopts a consultative leadership style, then the relationship between the leader and employers will be closer, where cooperation with each other can be established to achieve the goals of the organisation. Okay, yang mana kalau AMIRAH mempraktikkan ataupun mengamalkan konsultatif gaya kepimpinan konsultatif ataupun perundingan, maka keakraban antara ketua dan juga ahli-ahli kumpulan tu sangat rapatlah. Dan pada masa sama komitmen ahli kelompok tu sangat banyak. Dan sebarang cadangan yang diberikan berkemungkinan boleh diguna pakai untuk mencapai suatu objektif dalam sesebuah organisasi. Itulah antara kelebihan konsultatif leadership. Mereka kata dia komunikasi dua hala. Okey, itu sahaja. Okey. Next slide. Discuss about topic. Okey, kita akan bincangkan berkenaan dengan topik. Okey. Terdapat 3 soalan. Okey. First question. What is the main difference between a successful and unsuccessful decision? Okay. Okay. The point is profit and lose. Okay. For for the successful decision leads to profit the company, while the unsuccessful decision leads to lose to the company. Okay, berkenaan dengan profit ni lebih kepada keuntungan. Okay, keuntungan dalam sebuah syarikat. Okay, yang mana apabila keputusan yang dilakukan tu mendapat berjaya, maka ia dapat keuntungan lah. Okey, manakala lose, okey, manakala unsuccessful decision disebut sebagai lose, mana kata mengalami kerugian. Okey, itu antara perbezaan lah, antara successful and unsuccessful decision. Okay. Untuk soalan yang kedua, okay, how much time does the organization need to know if their decision is successful or not? Is making individual or group decision more beneficial to the organization? Why? Okay. The point, okay, more time. Okay, point dia adalah more time. Dan yang kedua, group can generate more ideas. Okay, and yang terakhir sekali, access more alternative for a specific problem. Okay, terdapat 3 lah. Okay, yang mana how much time does the organization need to know if their decision is successful or not? Okay, how much? Okay, berkemungkinan ia mengambil masa yang lama. Okay, okay, kerana setiap keputusan tu dia perlu ada kesepakatan, okay, dalam perbincangan tu lah. Dan pada pandangan saya berkenaan dengan is making individual or group decision more beneficial to the organisation. Okay, why? Okay, pada pandangan saya, okay, in my opinion, making better decision as a group, as it give a greater total knowledge, because a group can generate more ideas and access more alternative for a specific problem. Mana kata di sini saya lebih kepada saya lebih suka kepada group decision, kerana dalam group decision tu sendiri ahli-ahli kumpulan dan juga ketua dapat membincangkan sesuatu perkara dan sama-sama mencari jalan penyelesaian, berbanding dengan individu, yang mana individu ni individu decision ni dia sangat sukar lah, yang mana lebih kepada penjanaan idea sendiri dan mencari jalan penyelesaian sendiri dalam mencapai objektif, jika dibandingkan dengan group decision sangat sukarlah, kerana individu memerlukan masa dalam membuat membuat sebarang keputusan yang tepat lah, jika dibandingkan dengan group decision. Alright, group decision ni bagi saya adalah lebih baiklah. Okay, seterusnya. Okay, what is the best way to correct mistake when making decision in an organisation? Okay, in my opinion, in decision making, the best way is to give the commitment to the organisation and adopt the attitude of interaction in the group, to discuss all the problems faced by sharing views and work together to find alternative in solving the problems faced in the organisation. Yang mana kaedah yang terbaik, jalan yang terbaik adalah lebih kepada perbincangan, perbincangan secara berkumpulan, yang mana masing-masing ahli-ahli kelompok boleh mencadangkan sebarang idea, berkongsi berkenaan dengan pengalaman-pengalaman yang boleh diguna pakai bagi mencapai bagi mencapai jalan penyelesaian untuk meningkatkan performance dalam sebuah organisasi. Itu sahaja daripada saya. Terima kasih.
About the summary of decision making is, decision making is a critical component of business. Some decisions are obvious and can be made quickly without investing much time and effort in the decision making process. Others, however, require substantial consideration of the circumstances surrounding the decision, available alternatives and potential outcomes. Fortunately, there are several methods that can be used when making a difficult decision depending on various environmental factors. Some decisions are best made by groups. Group decision making process also have a multiply models to follow depending on the situation. Even when specific models are follow groups and individuals can be often fall into potential decision making pitfalls. If too little information is available, decision might be made based on feelings, made based on feeling. On the other hand, if too much information is presented, people can suffer from analysis paralysis, in which no decision is reached because of the overwhelming number of alternatives. Ethics and culture both play a part in decision making. From time to time, a decision can be legal but not ethical. These gray areas that surround decision making can further complicate the process. But following basic guidelines can help people ensure that the decisions they make are ethical and fair. And this is our reference, our topic. And if you want to see or want to know or anything about that topic, you can see in this reference. That's all from our team and our group. Thank you very much. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.